Hello, I am Will from My Alibi, and I am our producer. I produce all our music. Charles usually writes all of the songs on guitars, and then we go into the studio and produce it. So I'm going to be walking you through our song Real Good Guy, which is has 200,000 streams, which we are so pleased about. I really love watching people walk through their songs. So thought that it could be helpful to some of you. Let me know which songs you'd like me to do next, and I will get onto it. So we'll get straight into it. This is one of the files. I'm going to show you three different ones because I have the vocals on this one, which is a different version. Then I have the other production on another one, and then I have a mix file. So we'll show you this one. This is the vocals.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends.
That's the lead, and then with everything together.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends. Didn't even know you were single there, but that's so good. I don't care.
Nice. So my vocal production is the same for basically every song. I've eventually come together, found a template that works for Charles's voice, for my voice, and we've stuck with it. So we use the M1 Slate Digital microphone, which sounds really good just out of the box. But what we do, this is my vocal chain. So might just mute everything for now. So we have an auto tune. I use Waves auto tune. This is fairly auto-tuned, this one, just because it's pop. But the Waves tune look is quite natural, so I really like it. Even if you do put it at quite a high level, it doesn't sound too robotic, which is nice. So then we have a noise suppressor, which this is very high for.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends.
It's probably a bit too high for this one, but it just gets rid of the background noise. Then I have a compressor.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends.
You usually try to hit between 7 and 10, roughly. EQ, taking out the lows, adding the highs. Multi-band compression.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends.
Mostly taking out this frequency. I don't know, it just evens out the sound a little bit more. CLA vocals, so have a very small, tight reverb, which just puts it into its space a bit more, and add a little bit of low end.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends.
Cool. Then de-esser, just get rid of the S's, and then round that off with fresh air, which adds a bit of high end and crisp to the vocals.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends.
Beautiful. Then, what is probably the secret to these vocals is parallel compression and reverb as well. But so how we do this is in FL. So I have Fruity Send, and I link that one to this channel called Comp. Okay, and you'll just link it down there. And I have this channel,
I don't know why you,
which is a copy of this channel, and then I compress the heck out of this one. So way too much compression.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends.
So it comes right to your face. But then I blend that in with the original one.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends. Didn't even know you were single there, but that's so good. I don't.
And it just allows the vocal to be more crisp, more in your face, and you hear the pronunciation a lot more. This is quite heavily compressed compared from what I would usually do, but it kind of worked with the song. And then there is a reverb, but I'll talk about that later because I did do some stuff with that later. So that's the lead vocal. Then we have two doubles,
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends. Didn't even know you.
which are like more auto-tuned. It's just kind of to create some space. So one's heavily to the left, one's heavily to the right. Exactly the same channel. Then we have harmonies, which is I usually sing the harmonies, spend a little bit of time going through it after Charles records his.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends.
which is the same again, but usually I add a little bit more reverb, which just puts it in its space. And also I make it stereo with this fruity stereo enhancer, which just puts it behind the vocals a little bit more, so then when they're all together, they all fit.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends. Didn't even know you were single there, but that's so good. I don't care.
So that's those vocals, and I will touch on the bridge vocals later in the mix file because that is a little bit different. So we'll move on to the next file. Okay, so this is the second project file, and I'm just going to go over the guitars on this one because this is where we recorded them. So this is what they sound like. It's really simple stuff. Charles records them just in our studio. We have two microphones on the guitar. One of them is the M1, same as we record the vocals with. And then we have the SM7B, which is this one here. The M1 is usually on the 12th fret, roughly. And then this is just a little bit to the side of it. And so we already have a stereo sounding guitar. But what I do is put one of them just slightly to the left and one of them slightly to the right. Create a little bit more stereo effect. Take off the low end, really simple. And then take off a little bit more of the low end here. And just even out the sound of the guitar. So that is honestly super, super simple for that production there. Then when we come into the chorus, we have I believe that's standard tuning. This might be C tuning, possibly. I could have got those back to front, but one guitar is to the left and then one to the right. Really simple. Same EQ, same compression, and then we just add fresh air, which without it's a little bit more muffled, and then with it, more presence. So that is the guitars, really simple stuff, and we'll move on to the mix file. Alright, so this is the mix file, which looks a lot more neater, and it makes it look like there's a lot less going on. Alright, so we'll go back to the vocals. So we have...
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends.
So that's just the lead vocal with a little bit of delay. And then I copy that exact same file and I put it in to here. And I put a reverb on it that's 100% wet. So it sounds like that, along with making it stereo with the stereo enhancer. When you put them together,
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends.
just puts it in its own little space, which is nice. Then have all the harmonies and doubles.
I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends.
Just a little bit of a de-esser just to bring everything together, but very simple stuff there. So what do we have? So when we go into the verse, we have this little ukulele drone playing. I'm a big fan of drones. I'll get lots of different loops. Charles played this in this case, but I love using splice loops and things like that. Because when you add chords underneath, it just sounds so cool. Nice. Then we have these different vocal layers. Falsetto. And some doubles. Now we're moving into the pre. I think the only thing that really comes in is a bass. So it goes... it is a free plugin. So this is a Crux bass, and it is the P bass with Sign Player, Really good plugin. I love all the basses, and I use the P-Bass bass quite a lot. So it's a very natural sounding bass. Then when we go into the chorus, you have the guitars like I showed you, ukulele, picking pattern, piano, which is Labs, which is another free plugin. Labs is awesome. So I use a lot of free plugins because I do not have the money for expensive plugins. So then a bass keeps going, and then we have a clap. Then a kick comes in. Cool. Then we come into the second verse.
Was it you or was it him that made you stop messaging?
Not a whole lot happening. It's just bass is shorter. We have a lot of falsetto coming in.
Made you stop messaging. Made you stop messaging. Oh wait, I think I found a clue. I stopped.
Right here we stop everything
I stopped replying to.
because they stop replying to. So thought that fitted in quite nicely. Create some difference in the verse. It just keeps it moving.
I thought that you were lost.
Again, not much more.
I was just fine with keeping you near, cause suddenly we hadn't talked for a year. I was just fine with keeping you
We have
near,
this layer of the vocal, which doesn't sound great by
I
itself.
was just fine with
Just
keeping
listening
you
to it there, but has a lot more reverb, so 50% reverb. So it just puts it into space. Everything's quite dry before that, and then you come into this pre, and everything is a bit more wet.
I was just fine with keeping you near, cause suddenly we hadn't talked for a year. Cause it's someone new. I don't know why you hid it. We were good as friends. Didn't even know you were single there, but that's all good. I don't care.
So not much introduced apart from these drums, which is just a chopped splice loop. Yeah, quite simple stuff. Then when we go into the bridge, bit more is happening, which is actually my favorite part of the song. I was very pleased when it all came together. A lot more drums. Which creates a lot more movement. We've got a bass, which is also now playing on every beat. So you have and walking up and down. Cool. Then we have all of these guitars. Very cool. I think those are all splice loops just cut up, which sound very nice. Yes, so all the same guitars playing, just different chords. Cool. Then the vocals, they're a bit more interesting because they have sidechain on them. So I wanted to have it a bit more when this comes in.
Yes, I'm a bit jealous. Looking at you, looking at him, cause I'm around you.
Have a bit more movement. So to do that, I put all of these vocals in a separate channel.
I'm a bit jealous. Looking at you, looking at him with his arm around you.
Heaps of delay. Very long delay. Just keeps going. A lot more reverb. And then it's all linked. All of these ones are linked to a sidechain. So if I was to put this at 100%,
I'm a bit jealous. Looking at you, looking at him with his arm around you.
it just makes it duck. a lot. But I just put it on a low, only 36% in the mix.
I'm a bit jealous, looking at you, looking at him with his arm around you.
But still has a bit of movement, which is very nice. Have these harmonies.
Looking at him with his arm around you. You looking at him with his arm around you. You looking at him with his arm around you.
I used to be very particular with how the harmonies sound, but now if they all sound good together, then it sounds good, because unless you're going through every individual element like I am right now, it doesn't really matter. So this is what it sounds like. Then I've had a little delay throw, which what effects does that have? Does it have effects? Yeah, so a bit of distortion, reverb, auto-tune, and then crazy EQ, which I like doing those little things. And then we have which is just me going, and then adding a bunch of, I don't know if it's in this one, it's probably in the original. Yeah, it would just be a bunch of distortion, a bunch of reverb, and it sounds like.
I'm a bit jealous, a bit embarrassed, knowing damn well that I was a bit delusional. Oh no, now I know why you're here.
Yeah, we have this little
Huh.
Which is cool.
Now I know why you're here.
Cool. And then, right before the final chorus, we cut off everything except for claps and vocals. Do a similar thing in mixed signals, just because the vocals sound really cool by themselves. So we're like, oh, why not?
Get it, we were never friends. Didn't even know you were single there, but that's all good. I don't care. I don't know why I heard it.
Then everything starts to build.
Heard it straight from him. You came to me and said I'm a real good guy, and that's something I guess. Now I know why you're here.
So this took a little bit to get right, because I was trying to just build to this final chorus, but nothing was really working until I did this. So I chopped up this guitar, and then added a bass, a weird feel. So this is a guitar by it's Electric Mint, and it's a Contact library, which is quite nice. Very realistic sounding guitars. So added that. Kick. Nice. Snare. Hat. Have these slides. Nice. Ride. Or crash, which is rising in velocity. And then probably the main thing is brass, which again, all free plugins, I believe. So we have the Sine Player Rotary Big Band, which is very cool. Solo trumpet, very cool sounding. And then we have the BBC Orchestra long trumpet together. Very cool. And then probably the final thing is an ad-lib.
That's something I guess. Now I know why you're here.
Which, I don't know if the effects are on this one, they're probably on the other file, but what I would usually do to create that effect is grab an EQ here, do like a radio filter, and then you put some sort of distortion on, say this, that should work, and then some reverb, and that gets you that effect, which is quite cool.
And that's something I guess. Now I know why you're here. We were never friends. Didn't even know you were single there, but that's all good. I don't care.
final chorus, I think everything kind of comes together, and we also have this loop. If you're listening on headphones, you'll be able to hear that one of these, the first half of this loop is all the way to the left, and then it goes all the way to the right, which is cool. It just kind of creates its own little space in the mix. Then, yeah, everything comes together again for the final bridge.
Looking at you, looking at him with his arm around you.
One other harmony. Bass is doing a bit more crazy things. Yeah, and all together sounds like this. Yeah, so that is Real Good Guy. Yeah, very pleased with how this one's turned out, and yeah, super grateful for 200,000 streams. We are super proud of this song. We've got plenty more music coming, but I would love to do more of these breakdowns for any songs that you guys would like in particular. Yeah, I loved watching these types of videos from other producers, and hopefully if it can help one person, then that will make my day. So thank you for watching. Subscribe, because I'll do plenty more of these videos, and Charles will come in for some videos for some songwriting videos, maybe creating songs from scratch, etc. So thank you for watching. Appreciate it. See you next time.